If you lie to the government, it's a felony and you go to prison. If the government lies to you, then it's just politics. It's fact check true. It's Sunday. I'm Akorn. Welcome back to Laugh While the World Burns, bringing you your weekly dose of the idiocracy that is modern-day society. But before we get into that, for those of you who did not see yesterday's video, please go watch it, because it's an important channel announcement concerning the future of this channel. So I'll drop a link in the video description and also in a pinned comment, and it will also be the first video shown on the end screen. But with that said, please remember to hit that like and subscribe, and without further delay, let's get into today's show. America, show us a movie about the working class. Netflix, coal miners were trans and gay. Women in 1980, women in 2026. Fun prank to play on a passed out vegan. That would be perfect. Maybe put a little bit of ketchup on her lip just to sell it. Tax them to the white meat. Ma'am Danny's new equity officer posted now deleting X post against white women. The administration of the newly inaugurated New York City mayor was rocked by yet another controversy over bigoted posts on social media that were later deleted. They ridiculed liberal white women in the post on the X platform before being named the chief equity officer of the city by Mayor Mandani. After 18 years with loving parents. After 2 years with college professors. British man Luke Yarwood, 36, has been jailed for 18 months for 2 anti-immigration X posts that were viewed just 33 times. The court heard he was reported to police by his brother-in-law. The vast majority of the time, if your relatives find out any reason that the news or whoever tells them that they should turn in people, they'll definitely turn you in first, even before just a stranger on the street would. Somalis have 4 babies per family because they're making bank from scamming our government, plus free healthcare, plus no 9-to-5 jobs. You. No babies because both of you are working 50 hours a week with barely any time off, so you can pay taxes which the government steals, plus you can't afford the $15,000 bill to even have a baby. All by design. I don't think you understood what I said.
You don't trust the science.
No, I don't trust Epstein's friend who's not a scientist. Name something stupid that liberals do. Claim there is a gender pay gap, then turn around and say there's no such thing as gender. 22-year-old OnlyFans model Sherry Vandersloot got a nose job so her children will inherit her new nose and not the ugly one she formerly had. I don't want my kids to grow up being made fun of like I was for my ugly nose. I want to pass down a more natural nose to them. All the feminist women out there who demand what they call equal rights, well, you'll likely find out what equal actually means. And it certainly is not what this woman thinks it will be like.
Women are drafted to the military. I am most excited to see the confrontation between commanding officers and the girl. I think we're going to let you yell at us? Do you think we're going to do something without a please and thank you? Like, let's sit down and have a conversation about what you want and what I want, and we'll reach a happy medium. Because there's no way I'm doing what you want when you use that tone with me. You think you can push us around like you do with these men? Think again, baby.
Mafia. Same thing as the government, without all the pretense. Nah, the mafia's far more efficient. And they pay their debts. If Elon Musk has $221 billion and there's only 8 billion of us in the world, why doesn't he give all of us $1 billion? This is some of that Common Core math, and that's not an exaggeration. Here's a video clip that's related to this that I came across earlier this week, showing how she learned to do math, which is how all of us learned how to do basic math, versus how her son is being taught to do math through the Common Core curriculum.
When I was in school, all we did was add here, so this is going to be 13. I carry the 1, and I'll go 1 plus 4 is 5 plus 1 is 6. That's my answer.
That's how you show how it's actually done.
How it's actually done, okay.
These are the 10s and that's the 1s.
Okay.
4 10s and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Okay, that's...
And then 7 1s. And
okay.
then 1 more 10.
Okay.
And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay.
6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10,
wow.
11, 12, 14, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Okay, this wants to be with its friends, so it goes up to 50 and then it counts 1 more up, so it will make 63. That's how you do it.
Okay, times have definitely changed.
If this would have been 20 years ago, most would have never believed it. But today, this is exactly what I've come to expect. The mental illness is strong in this one. Yeah, I haven't seen the septum ring indicator fail yet. Israeli tech CEO calls on the U.S. government to limit First Amendment, take control of social media to prevent lies. As I've had many news articles and even videos here on the show in past months, this has been going on in the UK, and it's starting in Europe, and it's only a short time before it happens here in the US. $2.2 billion solar plant in California scheduled to be turned off after years of wasted money. Never lived up to its promises. Of course not. If these solar power plants were so great, they would be using them to run their AI data centers. But instead, they build coal power plants or even nuclear power plants. Because at the end of the day, they know that solar power is not sustainable nor cost efficient. Everything changes once you wake up. Oxford student, too bright for prison, is spared jail for stabbing boyfriend. If the roles were reversed, would he have gotten out of prison for being too bright? So excited I got that raise today. It was in medication dosage, but a win is a win. Take what you can get, I guess. Joe Biden will never be the man Michelle Obama was. As if the entitled tip culture wasn't bad enough, guys. Now some places are apparently just straight up lying to you. It shows a percentage, but the actual dollar amount is much higher than the percent shown.
So the bill is $158 and this is 20%. But when we do it on our calculations, how much are we gonna leave tip? And now they're saying $20 is 9%.
It doesn't give you the option to not tip, we'll just give it.
I dare you to name a single thing more important than diversity.
Ability. Truck driver spent Christmas Eve stuck in a snowstorm after ignoring signs, following GPS, California troopers say. I've never understood people that just blindly follow a GPS. I remember an article or something that I saw back some time ago now. I believe it was a woman in a car following her GPS, and she went off-road, and I think it was like across a field or something, and drove into a pond or a river. I can't remember which. But when they asked her why did she do it, she just said that's where the GPS told her to go. The pickle in McDonald's burgers is now thicker than the patty. Oh, you can't say that though, because McDonald's claims that their burgers have never changed size. Until this happens, nothing will change. Yeah, that is true, which means nothing will change. Breaking news, President of Greenland has been captured. Why was he captured by the DEA though? Is Trump blowing up Greenland's boats now? Haven't heard about that yet. Piers Morgan suggests Britain should buy back America since it was once British territory and claims it would strengthen North Atlantic security. He adds, "If you don't sell it to us, President Trump, we're going to impose tariffs on the U.S. and any country who supports you in resisting this very good deal." A lot of people won't like it, but it's just a fact. This is exactly what it sounds like to other countries when they hear Trump talking about tariffs and all the other economic sanctions and everything else. The U.S. isn't taking care of itself and the people here. We certainly don't need Greenland or any other country to be added on, regardless of the supposed reasons. The North Pole will be ice-free by the summer of 2013 because of man-made global warming. Al Gore, 2009. 2026. Nope, still cold. Finally, a cause worth fighting for. Protect pregnant men from climate discrimination. Ron Paul disguises Federal Reserve as Nike store in hopes rioters will burn it down. Thank you, Elon. Pete Hegseth announces new Department of War partnership with X's Grok AI. Well, I guess Spynet's almost complete. Even more so in the sense that they have been spying on us for decades. Now just think of how Spynet is tracking everything we do now. Republican introduces bill seeking to make Greenland 51st state. Well, you got Greenland, then there's Canada and Mexico, Venezuela, probably Colombia, and then at the end of it they'll probably toss in the UK as well and call it the North American Union. Matt Damon revealed that Netflix requires, by contract, that movies have dialogue that explains 3 or 4 times what's happening because the people who are on their phones aren't paying attention to the screen. Truly the anti-cinema and anti-art company. That and a whole lot of other things. A woman accused this man for raping her in her dream. Then he spent 28 years in prison for a crime he didn't commit. Yeah, like my grandpa said, there are many innocent men in prison because of women's lies. Brazilian woman refused to give up her paid window seat to a crying child, got filmed, went viral, and faced backlash. Now she's suing the airline and the passenger for invasion of privacy. She should. I completely agree with this. If you pay for a seat on a plane, you are not obligated to give that seat up for any reason. If you choose to give it up, that's your choice. But trying to be forced into it, or bullied into it, shamed into it, that should be listed under verbal assault at the very least, let alone when the airlines are complicit in it. New year, new me. New year, new memes. Isn't it weird that in America our flag and our culture offend so many people, but our benefits don't? Yeah, and you also never heard of the 150 plus nations complaining about receiving all the so-called financial aid coming from the US either.
I finally found a challenge that only men can do.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah.
Let's see if you can give it a try.
What is it?
And by this point in the video, most of you guys already know exactly what it is that he can do that she can't.
What are you doing? I can do... What? I can do that too. Tell me what you're doing. What are you... I don't understand. Oh, are you not blinking? I cannot blink. Oh, you are blinking. I'm very confused. What are you doing? Oh, like that? Oh, are you trying not to laugh? No, but you are laughing. I don't get it.
Governments worldwide are struggling to contain a new virus that could have a huge impact on billions of lives worldwide. The virus is called truth. That is certainly a fact-check true, and always has been for that matter. When someone who never comments on your posts only pops up to disagree. Ma'am Donnie tunes into The View to receive his classified morning briefings. Steam developer says his game got harder because young people can't write an email. After Hours is a puzzle game where fans can send an email in real life to get hints, but many people apparently don't know how email actually works. Well, guys, many of us have went from rotary dial phones to computers to the Oregon Trail, then to the internet with us listening for the "You've got mail" from AOL. Then we have come all the way up today to where AI is a thing, and the Terminator probably isn't very far off at all. And now we're coming to the point that we're seeing the end of email because the younger generations don't know how to use email. But don't despair. I'm sure there's an AI app for that. 1/3 of Gen Z was never born. According to a striking new report, child sacrifice has claimed nearly 1/3 of Generation Z, resulting in a cultural and demographic void too large to ignore. Analysts estimate that globally between 1997 and 2012, years considered the birth period for Gen Z, some 800 to 900 million unborn children were lost to child sacrifice. Taxman, released August 5th, 1966. Did Paul McCartney write this one? I'm not sure. Regardless, if this was true 60 years ago, how much more true is it today? Boys to be sent on courses to tackle misogyny in schools. I had an article related to this one in last week's show, and like one of the things I said last week, this is just yet another way that they are trying to totally erase any sort of masculinity, especially out of the youngest generations. If they can't fill them full enough of pharmaceuticals and brainwash them in the classroom, then they'll send them to advanced brainwashing sessions. And the thing is, this really isn't anything different than what's been happening in the US as well. Democrat lawmaker says the word manufacturing sounds like a guy. Might be why the field has few women.
Breaking news, women aren't working in manufacturing because manufacturing has the word man in it.
I know there's at least 13% or something. It was a low number. And you had mentioned trying to engage more women in manufacturing. I'm just wondering if just the name manufacturing sounds like a guy.
In a groundbreaking moment of modern feminism, Schakowsky suggests that man in manufacturing is keeping women from welding. I guess the solution is to rename it to everyone-ufacturing. You know, I also think we should look at the word manicure. Have you ever noticed that all the women getting manicures also have man hands?
No, that's not the reason. The reason is because most of the time, manufacturing jobs require heavy labor. And all the women that's yelling about equal rights and everything like that, they want everything to be equal until it's things that they don't want to do. Girl friendship.
Jessica hasn't texted me for a month. Forget her, Queen.
Boy friendship. We had an alliance in 1386. I expect you to join the Great War. I got you. Toyota is being sued after a driver discovered his car was tracking him. Toyota hit by a lawsuit after Florida resident gets higher insurance rates despite a clean driving record due to telemetry data. Like I've said on a lot of past shows, and we've already had multiple instances in today's show too, for the few people today that actually believe that we have any kind of privacy, pretty much about anything, you're kidding yourself. This is why young people in America are so confused. That's a few pieces of the agenda. In 30 years, I'll probably be up to some boomer stuff like, no son of mine is marrying an AI. Marriage is between two humans only. And my kids will be like, OMG, Dad, you're so robophobic. Too bad this isn't 30 years away, because it's already been happening for a while now. Case in point, Japanese man who spent $17,000 to marry AI hologram loses his wife after company discontinues its service. Instagram chief. AI is so ubiquitous, it will be more practical to fingerprint real media than fake media. Well, it's like the news article that I had on a past show where they stated that there is now more AI written articles on the internet than there is human written articles on the internet. And that was back a month or two ago. And just think about this. Those human written articles is reaching back all the way to the start of the internet, whereas AI written articles only started a few years ago. And I doubt that it'll be too much longer before there's more AI videos than there are human-made videos. And the real problem with that is when the AI videos are on topics that actually matter and that people believe is real, especially when the so-called news media is using them. Imagine how little we'd actually need to be taxed if it wasn't going toward fraud. Yeah, and the biggest fraud is the government. That's how they put this country into nearly $40 trillion in debt. Mom, what's a conspiracy theorist? Someone making fairly obvious observations that the government doesn't like. All these acts of violence make me wish I was less capable of defending myself. Yeah, better put that gun-free zone sign on your front door. I'm sure that'll stop them. A giant step back. Liberals rage against red meat after new food pyramid guidelines release. One group said meat and dairy are chiefly responsible for disease and diabetes. Man, what a joke. With how bad the food supply is these days, about the best thing you can find to eat is eggs from backyard chickens and beef from a local farmer. Those two things would beat anything that you can find in the grocery store these days. And it's also the same reason that they've been demonized so much.
Diversity is our strength. Immigrants are the fabric of Minnesota. It was only $9 billion stolen. If you don't like it, you're racist.
I like how they spelled stolen. Here's another Gen Z mathematician.
I'd rather take 100,000 pennies over $100,000. Here's the twist. That's because 100,000 in pennies is worth more than $100,000.
Huh?
Isn't that concerning?
This is a review that somebody left for a public library.
I don't know what is so special about libraries. If you go inside, you're going to find the same thing. You go into the place, and there are books stacked from the floor to the ceiling. I really think this money could be used for something more better. Who care about book when internet?
There's really nothing to add to that. What are you doing? Busy at work, signing some papers? Liar. There are good uses for AI images and video. I definitely approve of this one. April 2003. Dublin, one of the safest cities in the world. Dublin is considered one of the safer cities in the world. An international survey rated it 18th, well ahead of many other European cities. January 2024. Dublin ranks among the top 10 most dangerous major cities in Europe. Yeah, that's what they've done to all the Western nations. Influencer who spent over $49,000 on lip fillers says he can no longer close his mouth. The depths of stupidity and wickedness knows no bounds. Woman slams selfish paragliders who made her think Hamas were invading Doncaster. A woman panicked her village near Doncaster was under attack when she spotted a number of paragliders flying over her home and thought they were from Hamas. Yeah, people will believe anything but the truth.
If you homeschool your kids, they won't fit in with society.
Society. And this is just a few of the reasons. When TurboTax asks if you have any dependents. Yeah, no kidding. Survival tip. If lost in the woods, build a shelter. The tax collector will be there shortly. Some California stores have started pricing all items at $951, but not because they actually cost that much. No, it's because, like I've showed in some past episodes, that basically California made it legal to steal anything that was $950 or less. And all the criminals know it too. So what small businesses are still left and haven't been forced into bankruptcy, they have to try to find any kind of workaround that they can. I'd rather be a conspiracy theorist than whatever happened to the rest of society. It's not theories anymore. Elon Musk has more children than a Somali daycare center. Speaking of which, here's a screenshot of a Craigslist ad that was sent in by Tony. Daycare hiring child actors for 3-day contract. You guys can read this whole thing if you want to, but basically, they were trying to hire 20 child actors for 3 days at $1,500 a day so they could pass the state inspection. Now, I don't know for certain if this is connected to the Somalian daycare centers or not, but regardless, I'm pretty sure that it would be criminal offense to do something like this to try to pass any kind of a state inspection. Well, better be careful what you wish for. Well, guys, Gen Z has apparently found another type of fidget spinner. It's only worse. They're using adult pacifiers, guys. I kid you not.
You're so good. Can we normalize pacifiers, bro?
No.
This is an adult pacifier. And see, it's big enough for an adult to use. These will not damage your teeth because they're specifically made for adults.
Right.
And I know my teeth, they're not perfect for everyone pointing it out, and it's not from this, it's from childhood. It's made for an adult. I like to use it, and I'm happy. That's all that matters.
Well, when I was coming up, saying you suck to somebody was an insult. But nowadays, it's a compliment. Gen Zers are using adult pacifiers. And the future is cooked.
Liberals now ship with front-mounted charging ports. Intelligence add-ons not included. Gen Z are arriving to college unable to even read a sentence. Professors warn it could lead to a generation of anxious and lonely graduates. Well, I guess at this point, if colleges were to stop destroying society and to ever do anything remotely helpful, they need to add Reading and Math 101 for all freshmen who fail the entry test. Of course, if you're going to do those two, then there's a whole other lot of classes that could be added to the list. But if we're going to do that, then we might as well just start a new school and call it the University of Functional Education and Common Sense. What all classes do you think we should include? Drop it down in the comments. The staggering cost of Ed Miliband's net zero drive finally revealed. £4.5 trillion. That's more than the UK's entire GDP. Norway is the happiest country in the world. What's the secret? I can't believe that a wealthy country with free healthcare and education, high wages, a strong middle class, and nearly a month paid vacation time by law is happy. The only people on the planet happy about the demise of their own race.
This time in American history, the number of white people went down.
And white Americans will soon be a minority, and that's great.
Whites will not be the majority. I mean, it's an exciting transformation of the country. It's an exciting evolution and progress of our country.
We are going to be a white minority very, very soon. I'm okay with that.
But we're all just conspiracy theorists. The left. Greenland belongs to Greenlanders. Me. Okay. Europe belongs to Europeans. The left. Yeah, they only want to burn it down if it's the European countries or the other Western nations. A federal judge gave a green light to New York's so-called green light law, rejecting the Trump administration's bid to stop the state from giving people driver's license without having them prove they are in the country legally. And this surprises people? It would be sort of interesting to know how many tens of millions of people that are in the U.S. illegally and yet has been given driver's license from who knows how many states. But yet if you or I, as a U.S. citizen, goes to renew our driver's license, not even to get a new one, but just to renew them, you have to prove you paid your property taxes, 3 forms of federal ID, proof for all of your past addresses from the last 20 years, all of your current internet history, and your 3rd grade report card. Here is a news clip from the BBC where this woman talks about how the UK government prioritized China over its own citizens.
Have a government that will arrest you for a tweet, but if you're a hostile Chinese spy, they'll look the other way. And this is the problem when we have a government that fears offending China more than it fears betraying Britain. Don't forget that this was Jonathan Powell, the National Security Advisor, is part of the 48 Group Club, which acts like a soft liaison trade group, but actually courts UK elites, ministers, advisors, to push Chinese interests.
UN judge, one-time Columbian University human rights fellow, found guilty of slavery. Gee, what a surprise. But you didn't see this making headlines all over the news. You didn't see any liberal protest about it either. But what do you think the reaction would be if this had been a white woman? UK to pass population tipping point in 2026, think tank says. The number of people who die in Britain this year is set to exceed those born in the country, the Resolution Foundation said, in what the think tank described as a permanent shift that will increase the UK's dependency on migration. Yeah, because they've used their laws and the economy to destroy any type of savings or inheritance, while also taxing citizens into total poverty, and then taking all of that and giving it to the immigrants that are not just flooding in by chance, but were brought in by every means possible. And it's not just one nation that's doing this, guys. It's nearly all the Western nations, including the US and Europe as well. This isn't an accident that all the Western countries has done the exact same thing. This takes long-term planning and execution from the top down. Crypto is going to be huge this year. Wrong. AI stocks will be. Reality. Popular grocery store chain uses biometric surveillance on shoppers, raising privacy concerns. A viral post highlighting biometric surveillance at Wegmans grocery store in New York City is sparking renewed privacy concerns. Biometric identifier information collected at this location. A sign attached to the door of the Wegmans reads, Wegmans Food Markets Incorporated collects, retains, converts, stores, or shares customer biometric identifier information, which may include facial recognition, eye scans, and voice prints, the sign states. Wegmans confirmed it is collecting the biometric readings, telling Fox News Digital in a statement the safety of our customers and employees is a top priority. Yeah, just remember, everything they do is just for your safety. Being far right in 2025 just means having the same views as 99.9% of all humans who ever lived up until the 21st century. You're not far right. You're just normal. I don't know what to say about this one, guys. Just listen to their, let's just say, perceptive intellect.
Guns don't kill people, people kill people. Okay, in that case, bread doesn't make sandwiches, people make sandwiches. Cars don't drive people to work, people drive people to work.
Republicans just removed a spending provision placed by Somali Representative Ilan Omar that would have sent $1 million to a fraudulent clinic in Minnesota. The $1 million was for a substance abuse clinic that happens to be housed in a restaurant run by 3 people with the same residential address. One of many reasons to homeschool. UK expands Online Safety Act to mandate preemptive scanning of digital communications. The system demands machines make moral calls in real time. You guys can read it if you want, but what they're not explicitly saying, well, actually they are, but people actually have to think about it. So what they're not saying is everything you type, the photos you take, text messages, social media posts, forums, and even as it's mentioned here, what you type into your search engine is all being constantly monitored, which is why they can stop anything before you even post it, or at the very least before anyone else ever sees it. But of course, all of this is just for our safety. Or, I'm sorry, it's for children's safety, I should say, right? That's what they always use to implement these sorts of things, and that's what they are currently using across the Western nations. Australia, for instance, is doing the same thing, and so is the US for that matter. People's going to start seeing that more and more in the coming months.
Bit harder. Go on. Hit it. You call yourself police force? No force in you.
Power prices may jump up to 30% on AI-driven demand. European power prices could jump between 5 and 30% if grids fail to keep pace with a surge in demand from data centers amid the growth in AI. It's not just in Europe, though. They're doing the same thing here in the US. I even read today where there are plans for multiple new AI data centers, even out here in Missouri. But yet, I've seen many news articles and so-called officials making PR statements or talking to the press or interviews and such in past years, basically telling the citizens that the power shortages and price increases is all our fault because we have our thermostat turned up above freezing or something. Oh, and don't forget how the grid is always right on the brink of collapse, and there's going to be rolling blackouts and etc. just because people's using their air conditioner in the summer too. But don't worry, they'll always have enough power for their AI data centers. And they're not doing it for the fake images or videos either. Bizarre video shows humanoid robots preparing for border patrol duties between China and Vietnam. China is about to send humanoid robots to work at busy border with Vietnam. UBTech Robotics has won a $37 million contract to deploy its Walker S2 machines there starting next month. It's only going to get worse. Vegan scientists mixing 27 carcinogenic chemicals in an attempt to make a soybean taste like a hamburger. Yeah, because don't you guys know? We don't get enough soybeans in our diet. Next time you go to the store, when you're buying your groceries, stop and take a look at the ingredients of the items and see how many you can find that doesn't contain soybean oil. For those that don't know, soybeans is just one of the ways that they've tried to physically destroy masculinity in today's society. Release the Epstein files. Sorry, best I can do is... Here's another example of girl math, or I should say Gen Z girl math.
What is 88 plus 22?
110.
That's incorrect.
No, it's correct.
No, because if you got plus 2 is 10, then 8 plus 2 is 10. 10 times 10 is 100.
You're very wrong.
No, I'm right and you're wrong.
Here's something that I heard about this week, and I thought I'd look it up for myself. Not that this surprises me at all, but if you go on Google and you type in, "Why is my husband yelling at me?" This is basically what it shows you. Yelling can be an indicator of a need for domination and power, but it can also be a symptom of being emotionally overwhelmed. It's also a sign that someone hasn't learned how to adequately control their emotions. And then notice that directly below that, it has the website for domestic shelters. But if you look up the exact same thing, except change it to, "Why is my wife yelling at me?" Here's the results it gives you then. Your wife might be yelling due to feeling unheard, overwhelmed by stress, unmet needs, unresolved conflicts, or feeling disrespected, often stemming from poor communications or past patterns, but it can signal deeper issues needing calmer, empathetic discussion or professional help. And then below that, it lists all of these common reasons for yelling. And I'll just read a couple. You guys can pause the video and read all of it if you like, or feel free to look it up on Google yourself. But a couple of these, like feeling unheard or misunderstood. She feels her thoughts, needs, or feelings aren't acknowledged, so she raises her voice to be heard. Stress and overwhelmed. External pressures, finances, job, or the mental load of household and family organization can lead to emotional outbursts. Unmet needs, expectations. Frustration builds when core emotional needs, support and appreciation, or expectations aren't met. Feeling disrespected and powerless. Yelling can be an attempt to gain power or feel heard when she feels helpless or disrespected. Now, the next section is listed as what to do. Now, understand this is Googling, "Why is my wife yelling at me?" This is making the assumption that it's a man searching for this, which means that under this section that's titled What to Do, it's literally speaking to the man or husband. First, identify triggers. Try to notice when the yelling happens and what was said or done just before. Translation: what did you say or do that made her yell at you? Listen actively. Even if she's yelling, acknowledge her feelings by saying, "I see you're very upset." Yeah, you guys tell me if you think that that's gonna help. Focus on we. Frame it as a shared problem to solve, not her fault, emphasizing teamwork for a better relationship. So basically, everything here, number one, is blaming the man as being the problem, or for having created the problem, or at the very least, not helping the problem. Nowhere here does it blame the woman for anything, nor does it even give any resources for where a man can go for help. It doesn't give any information about what to do about abuse, whether it's verbal abuse or physical abuse. And here's the thing. There are many men today in relationships that are being physically abused by women. Now, when I say that, I know many people will instantly say, well, he can take care of himself. He can stop her. The fact is, no, he can't. And here's why. Because if he does anything at all, even if he is just trying to leave the situation, such as leaving the house and she's blocking the door or whatever, if he does anything, even just trying to push past her, he'll be the one that's arrested and thrown in jail for abuse. Period. And that's just a fact. There are very few cases in comparison where an abusive woman is the one who gets arrested. And in those very few cases, most of the time, it's because the man thought ahead and turned on his camera and recorded everything. Sometimes, they've had to have recordings that they've taken over periods of months. How the courts view a man is also made very clear in divorce and custody cases. Imagine, if you will, a government so corrupt it tries to convince the people that accountability is illegal. When Al Gore was born, only 7,000 polar bears existed. Now, only 26,000 polar bears remain. Yeah, it's sad about how all the polar bears' territory just melting away. Bunch of hooligans. 50 sheep charge into German supermarket. Hilarious video goes viral. Being ruled by warlords. Being ruled by warlords in suits that let you pretend to elect them. Florida man awarded $37,500 after cops mistake glazed donut crumbs for illegal substance. Come on and tell the truth, guys. You just wanted to know where he hid the donuts, didn't you? I think paying taxes should be paused until the government can prove to the American people there is no more fraud. If this were possible, we'd never pay taxes again, because there will never not be massive fraud in the government, because it's by design and it can't function otherwise. Yeah, beef should be in the number one position. However, it's already so expensive that a lot of people can't afford it, and it's only going to get much higher. Americans are burning paid time off just to sleep instead of travel. 43% of millennials admit they've used paid vacation days to stay in bed. Well, yeah, who the heck can afford to travel these days? If you think you're smarter than the previous generation, 50 years ago, the owner's manual of a car showed you how to adjust the valves. Today, it warns you not to drink the contents of the battery. Earlier, I mentioned how women set up men so they can record them and put it on the internet to shame them. This here is an example of that. With that said, men are getting sick and tired of this, along with everything else that's being done to them, and women are starting to figure out that men are not going to continue to take the disrespect anymore.
Yeah, I got him in here cooking tonight after he worked 12 hours, see?
For all of you that have seen my original video on this, there is an update she has posted. Before I slide in what I need to say, let's watch that video.
So me and my husband are in a huge fight right now. He actually left, and he said he's gonna stay gone until I get my act together. So I'm gonna tell you what happened, okay? Pretty much, he works like 70 hours a week, okay? And I asked him if we can go out to eat. We went out to eat yesterday, and I asked him again if we can go out to eat again. He said that this can't be something we do on a routine basis. And I'm just like, why not? Why not? When you have the money to do it and you make all that money, why can't we do that? He says, because we're supposed to be saving. We're supposed to save. What are we investing in? Why are we saving in the first place? Okay? First of all, what I'm not going to do is sit here and allow someone to tell me what my money, that's my money too, because we're married. I'm not going to allow someone to tell me what my money is going to go towards. Okay? Simple as that. And if he's going to keep it up, then he don't have to come back.
First of all, bravo to your husband for standing up for himself. That man needs to stay gone. Second of all, girl, it sounds like you're going to lose a whole husband over dinners. Thirdly, your money is really his money when you're not being a team player. And it will quickly, faster than you expect, return to his money forever, even when you decide you do want to be a team player when he decides to remain gone.
Scientists grow mini human brains to power computers. It may have its roots in science fiction, but a small number of researchers are making real progress trying to create computers out of living cells. And it only gets worse. Brain in a jar. Biocomputers can now learn to control robots. Living brain cells wired into organoid on a chip biocomputers can now learn to drive robots, thanks to an open source intelligent interaction system called Metabot. This remarkable project aims to rehome human brain cells in artificial bodies. This here is just showing one of these mini brains controlling this small prototype, but we all know what they're actually looking to do is to put them in these full-size androids. And sadly, it's only a short matter of time. On the same note, lab-grown brain cells play video game Pong. Liberals in nuclear meltdown mode after 2026 Color of the Year is announced. Yeah, I'm sure they would. If we behaved like our government, we'd be arrested. We'd be a lot worse off than just arrested. Did you know paternity tests are illegal in France? Too many people cheat and DNA tests can ruin families. We all know what a paternity test is. A quick DNA check to see if the dad is really the dad. In the US, it's practically a daytime talk show sport. Mari practically built his brand on "you are the father" or not. But in France, no, monsieur. Paternity tests there aren't just frowned upon. They're flat out illegal without a judge's approval, which basically only happens in extreme criminal cases, and not in the naughty don't do it again kind of way. If a French man is caught taking one, whether in France or even abroad, he could face up to 1 year in jail and a 16,000 euro fine, about $18,000. Yes, a secret DNA swab could cost you your freedom and your wine budget. Wine budget? I don't know who in the heck wrote this article. But regardless, Yeah, this doesn't surprise me at all. And we'll see it spread to the other Western countries, if it hasn't started already. Just like here in the US, there's been many men that has to pay for child support, even when a DNA test has proven that they're not the father. Something that seems to get glossed over, I think anyway, is how liberals are always doing these protests. When do they have time to keep doing these over and over again? Well, it's easy. They don't work.
I quit my job for this, and I've been having flare-ups and stuff, so it's like I can barely, and I have panic attack.
You said when you heard the sirens, you immediately ran out. Where were you?
I was about 15 minutes away.
And what were you doing?
I was disassociating on my bed. I mean, I might as well put my time to something useful. If you've seen the video, everything, it was not self-defense by that terrorist. It was not.
How did your boss respond when you quit?
It was like a part-time. I'm getting back after a lot happened recently in my life, so sometimes disability takes my life over, and I'm still kind of in shock. Like,
school's been canceled. Have people been taking off work for this? Have you had to take off work for this?
Countries with the most arrests for online comments. For those who think the police in the UK arresting people for Facebook posts and other things are fake reports, they're not. In past shows, I've had multiple news articles about this, and even video footage of police arresting people, telling them that they were being arrested for a Facebook post, memes, or whatever it was. And here's a question for you. What do you think will happen with all of this when the UK becomes the 57th state? A single mom has created a date deposit app where men must deposit money in advance to cover women's date preparation costs before a date.
After I said I would require a deposit to take me on a date to cover my date preparation costs, I'm now working with an app developer to make this a reality. This is actually happening. We are building the app. I'm not even exaggerating when I tell you this is the best damn dating app you have ever seen, because there is a clear difference here where the woman can set the deposit rate and the man can pay for her date preparation costs. So as a woman, you're gonna walk into the date already so happy, and that's gonna lead to a better date and a better connection, and that gives the man a better chance of succeeding in courting you. The app is called Courted. So when people ask, how did you meet? You can say, he courted me. So cute! The website already looks absolutely stunning, and the app itself, incredible. All of the features are so unique and nothing like you've ever seen on any dating app. Oh, and to everyone who said you can't do that, guess what? I just did. So we are going to launch this city by city, and if you want early access, click the link in my bio and sign up. Let's make dating fun again.
Happy New Year! EV registration fees will double in this state on January the 1st. In Minnesota, the current $75 annual fee will now be at least $150, a bipartisan move aimed at offsetting lost gas tax revenue for public infrastructure projects. Yeah, every time people think they found some sort of loophole, the government swoops in and taxes it. Which nothing about electric vehicles were ever loopholes. All the claims about how much money people will save was just used to get people to buy into it. Pretty soon, it'll cost more to charge an EV than it will be to get gas. And here's another clip concerning the growing popularity and sales of adult pacifiers. And yet a lot of people still think that 2026 is gonna be a better year.
What in the world is going on? Adults have started sucking on pacifiers in order to soothe their anxieties. American adults are sucking on pacifiers to get through stress at work, in traffic, when they're having trouble sleeping, or during moments of pure burnout. Psychologists call this the regression phenomenon, which basically is the idea that when life gets overwhelming, people retreat into something that made them feel safe as kids. Online retailers are reporting sales of over 2,000 adult binkies per month, and they range in price from a couple dollars to $70 plus if you want a more luxury pacifier. Doctors and dentists have voiced their concerns with this new trend, saying that pacifiers are not made for adults and it could shift their teeth around. But I think we have bigger problems than that when adults are turning to binkies.
You can be denied citizenship in Switzerland for being too annoying. Here's another example of so-called modern art, guys. Please wait patiently for the failure of the system. I've been waiting for that my whole life. My patience ran out a long time ago. We live in a society where this is allowed in universities, and this is not. Yeah? About to go run a 12-hour shift so 33% of my income can go overseas. And don't forget, that's just the part that they take right off the top. I would say on average that most of us here in the US probably pay another 30% in taxes on all the other taxes, fees, permits, licenses, property taxes, fuel taxes, and countless others. Here's a clip of an entitled, spoiled brat liberal who gets arrested for theft.
This is a warning. Ma'am, don't steal the sign. You can't steal the sign. You're on camera stealing a sign. Sam! Officer, she's stealing a sign. Ma'am, you're about to walk right into a police officer who you're committing theft right now. Don't throw it over. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Steal a sign? I just moved it.
You just did what?
I just moved it.
You just moved it. Oh, you took it. Okay. Who was holding it? Me. She just ripped it out. It's on camera. She just ripped it out of my hands. She just ripped it out of your hand? Yes. Why'd you rip it out of his hand?
Because this restricts women's rights.
Restricts women's rights?
He's
Would you get it off the sign, please?
lies on college campus.
Okay.
Where I go.
Can you get off the sign for you damaging property? Okay.
I can't believe y'all protect them.
You're not going anywhere. Right now you're being detained. Okay.
Detained for what?
Larceny. You stole his sign.
He has it back.
Okay, yeah, because I got it from you.
I moved it 50 yards.
I don't care if you moved it 1 foot. You don't have a right to take someone's property. Okay? Period. I don't care what the circumstance is. You don't have a right to take anyone's property. He was holding it, therefore it was his, and you took it. Okay? I know you may not agree with what's being said, but you don't have a right to take someone's property. Period. Okay? Go on, 16 minutes.
Look, sir, I'm not trying to get arrested. I just don't agree with this message.
Do you have ID on you?
No. Am I being arrested right now?
Okay, right now you're being trained up here at what's going on with this bike, okay?
Okay, well, I won't mess with this sign again. Okay.
That's fine. Alright, do you have ID on you?
Yeah.
Okay, can I see?
What?
You're under arrest warrant. You admitted to taking a sign from me.
Well, all I did was I just walked it over here. I was gonna give it back to him.
Well, I don't know that, man. I didn't know that. I came over here and then you rested against the sign. So listen, we need to make this difficult to cause a scene. Take your backpack off, turn around, put your hands behind your back.
I cannot believe this is happening.
Right now I'm asking you that.
Is there something else that I can do?
No, I just told you you're under arrest. I cannot unarrest you, and a judicial official must do that. That's why we're going to go from here. Okay?
New Year's diet strategy just dropped. Well, I guess you could take everything out of the fridge that has red dye number 40 or whatever, because that's about the biggest thing they've done. If they actually wanted to do some good, the first thing they would have banned is soybean oil and all related derivatives and high fructose corn syrup. And that's just a start. We are broke. Stop borrowing money to give it to other countries. I don't know what it is at the moment, but for who knows how many decades, and even now I doubt if it's changed all that much, if the truth was really known, the U.S. government has thrown away U.S. tax-paying citizens' money by just raining the money down to over 150 countries on Earth. There's only 193 nations total. The left says corrupt billionaires are the problem. The right says corrupt government is the problem. And I'm here like, you do realize corrupt billionaires are running the corrupt government, right? Yep, and that's to say the least. If I die before November 3rd, please make sure I don't vote for a Democrat. I meet someone. We talk. I explain the satanic elites are trying to kill us all. They leave. I meet someone. All you women who are complaining that men won't help anymore, well, you got exactly what you asked for.
I'm here to say one more thing.
Oh, goody.
I just had to drag my AC out of my car to my apartment building. 3 guys passed me. None of them offered to help.
Why should they? Women are strong and independent. They can do everything on their own.
None. 0 out of 3. Why? Because you couldn't lift it? You were too scared to lift it? Is that why? Am I intimidating? Am I more masculine than you?
No, that's not what it is at all. But let's take a moment to think about how many women, thousands upon thousands of women, are saying every single day that in fact they don't need men. They don't need them at all. In fact, they're saying sometimes that the world would be better off without men. But apparently, some women still need men for grunt work. I should think that they would be grateful that men are finally listening to their wishes, ideas, and their feelings. But apparently not when it comes to lifting heavy objects.
To answer her question, are women more masculine? Well, compared to today's generation of males, yeah, some might be. Are men intimidated by women? No. But modern women have preached so hard about how they are strong, independent women who don't need no man. Okay, then stop complaining. But more importantly, every man today needs to look through the lens of risk assessment before doing anything. I don't care what it is. Anytime a man approaches a woman, it doesn't matter for what reason, if there are witnesses, etc. Anytime a man approaches or has any interaction with a woman, they're taking a big risk to their reputation because of all the stupid videos that women stage and set up to try to trap men and put them on the internet. They're also taking a big financial risk for lawsuits and all kinds of things. I seen a news video not too long ago of a man who got sued because he saved the life of some woman. So the guy saved her life, and then a short time later she took him to court and sued him. And even worse, men are risking their own freedom because even now, this system in the courts almost always take whatever a woman claims as absolute truth. And there's even been situations where there was video evidence proving otherwise, and yet it was still ruled against the man. Because of modern women's attitudes and because of all the risks that is involved today, these are the reasons that men have stopped offering help, that they've stopped interacting with a lot of women in public in any way, that they won't stop on the side of the road to help someone, especially if it's a woman. If it isn't someone that you directly know and can trust them completely, the risk isn't worth it anymore. Here's a clip that I came across today of some angry feminist Karens yelling at men while telling them that men are the ones who can't control their emotions.
Men can't control their emotions and abuse women.
Men can't control their emotions?
Yes, and abuse women.
You seem like you can't control it.
Excuse me, I'm angry. I'm angry and I'm loud. That's not emotional. That's called being persistent and passionate. And all the football coaches who yell at their little boys and say that's not emotional. That's a ban.
I want to say
your
I'm pro-life.
testosterone is what makes you illogical and emotional.
Disgusting.
Me after starting a Somali daycare center. Robots fashioned from dead lobster exoskeletons have awesome strength, lightweight, and flexibility. Necrobotics Advance mixes sustainable food waste with synthetic components. How many millions of dollars did they get for researching this? Because it sure as heck lines somebody's pockets. 10 of these would buy you an average home in 1929. 10 of these will buy you an average home in 2026. The M1928 Thompson is the perfect stable currency. I completely agree. A drunk man in Poland stole a 36-ton T-55 tank and took it for a joyride. Hey, sounds like fun. Denmark renames Greenland so Trump will never talk about it again. That might work. How vegans think animals die in the wild. Meet Cooper, my emotional support dog. Yeah, they'd be a better backup than most people would be. The Democrats' job is to destroy the country. The Republicans' job is to pretend they will stop them. A lot of people don't like hearing it, but it's just a simple fact. We should raise the taxes of the communists to 100%. I was gonna say, yeah, see how long they continue to like communism. But the rest of us are already taxed 2/3 of the way there now. Here is a short clip of George Carlin in this interview talking about how we only have the illusion of choice, and he's absolutely right.
There is no national conspiracy to buy elections and control America.
Don't need a formal conspiracy.
Right.
When interests converge, these people went to the same universities and fraternities, they're on the same boards of directors, they're in the same country clubs, they have like interests, they don't need to call a meeting, they know what's good for them, and they're getting it. And there used to be 7 oil companies, there are now 3, it will soon be 2. The things that matter in this country have been reduced in choice. There are 2 political parties, there are a handful of insurance companies, there are about 6 or 7 information things, but if you want a bagel, there are 23 flavors because you have the illusion. You have the illusion of choice.
One nation under fraud, completely visible with spying and lying to all. That is for certain.
Tonight, an Orange County woman faces 5 felonies accused of registering her dog to vote. According to the Orange County District Attorney, 62-year-old Laura Yorks of Costa Mesa cast ballots in her dog's name, and those ballots were for the recall of the governor in 2021 and the 2022 primary. The dog's vote was successfully counted in 2021, but it was rejected in 2022. Prosecutors say Yorks posted a social media picture of her dog wearing an I voted sticker. If convicted, Yorks faces up to 6 years in state prison.
Okay, they shouldn't be able to vote. Not that it actually matters. But I still do believe that we should be able to claim dogs and cats as dependents on our taxes. Christmas lights kept turning off, so I did this. Hopefully now they'll remain on. Well, yeah, they'll probably remain on, but don't worry, you won't need the lights. The fire will light up everything really well. I worked with a lady who was remarking on how a friend of hers had lost a bunch of weight. She pondered, I wonder how many Diet Cokes she had to drink to do that. Man, this made me a little sad. People are so susceptible to marketing these days that they think just because something is called diet, it must be good for them. Reminds me of a flatmate from university who used to drink smart water before taking exams. Neither one of these points surprises me whatsoever. And I'm going to end today's show with this. The only time anyone should watch the news is to study how psychological manipulation works on the general public. If you'd like to help save the channel, please consider hitting that like, subscribe, and share the videos. I thank you all for watching. You guys take care and stay safe this week, because the idiocracy is only getting worse by the day. This is Akorn, over and out.